Come take a look. Shanghai 600 has closed, the Pacific has closed, and the Oriental Plaza over there is also closing down. In Zikawei, the heart of the city's shopping district, several department stores have shut down, one after the other. Some say it's because the expatriates have all left. Others say it's due to a decrease in consumer spending, and some argue that physical department stores simply can't keep up with the times and should have been phased out long ago. I want to mention that in these past few years, I've only shopped at the Metro City and the Grand Gateway in Zikawei. I haven't set foot in other stores for many years. The Oriental Plaza had just reopened with a major renovation before the 2018 epidemic, but the revamp didn't seem to bring in more traffic or improvement. Now the entire shopping district here is set for another transformation. This is Shanghai's famed Laowai Street, meaning Foreigner Street. It is one of the biggest international cuisine streets. Its environment, decorations, and dishes rival any trendy hotspot, and it's one of the most popular places for international visitors in Shanghai. Now that they have left and the Chinese can't afford to spend money, it stands empty and quiet. Observers say that the street is now a shadow of its former self. The Chinese economy has been in a slump, and with a continuous withdrawal of international investments, Shanghai hasn't seen the economic revival expected by the world since last year. Instead, the situation has worsened. Entering 2024, a new wave of store closures and shutdowns has begun. On February 19th, the old and established department store Shanghai 600 officially closed its doors after 71 years of business. Following the closure of the Shanghai Pacific department store in Zikawei last July, another long-standing establishment in the Zikawei shopping district has exited the market. The shutdowns of these famous department stores such as Shanghai 600 and the Pacific have led consumers to lament the end of an era. This series of closures has also caused concerns about the decline of Shanghai as China's economic and financial hub. Many Shanghai residents feel a sense of loss. In the days leading up to the closure, they flocked to Shanghai 600 to reminisce, bringing an unusual spike in traffic to the store before it's closed down. An elderly citizen remarked with a sigh, "After the pandemic, it was clear that many shops wouldn't reopen. Zikawei's days of glory are gone. I'll never forget my first visit there. Now a piece of my childhood memory is lost." Records show that Shanghai 600 opened in 1952 in Huashan Road, moved to Hengshan Road 2 years later, and has been in business there ever since. In the 1960s, it was the largest state-owned department store in the Shuhui district and marked the birth of the Zikawei shopping district. In the 1990s, along with the construction of Shanghai Metro Line 1, Shanghai 600 underwent a complete transformation, and with this as a starting point, Zikawei's rise began. A rise of series of commercial landmarks such as Grand Gateway, Huijin, and Metro City followed. Since last year, the Zikawei shopping district has undergone many changes. The 30-year history of the Pacific department store came to a close. This year, Shanghai 600 has closed, and the Oriental Plaza is to be demolished and rebuilt. Huilian Commercial Store is clearing out stock and will soon close for remodeling. Shanghai, named the historical metropolis of China, saw the opening of its first department store in the 1930s. This was followed by the opening of 12 department stores. For those who remember old Shanghai, from the 1st to the 12th, these 12 department stores hold precious memories, witnessing the heyday of Shanghai's department stores industry. Shanghai 600 was one of them. Now out of the 12, only 5 remain as department stores, though some have changed hands or transformed, with most being abolished or closed. On February 29th, the Vanguard Dahua store officially closed. This supermarket, which opened in 2018, has bowed out after just over 5 years.
猜猜这里是哪里？
Guess where this is? Yes, it's Vanguard Dahua, and it's about to close its doors. Think about how bustling it was back then. Now it's shutting down. The Shanghai Nonggongshan supermarket will also close tomorrow. You might not know yet, since the news hasn't reported it, but if you have a coupon, you better hurry and use it.
传统卖场一家家关闭。
One by one, traditional retail stores are closing. Everyone is anxious. Look, there are only 5 Carrefour stores left in Shanghai, and today, the Vanguard Dahua has officially closed. I'm here at the store and I can see the seal tapes all over the market. The shops along the path to the supermarket are having crazy clearance sales. This place is the Dahua Ancient Town, at the junction of Baoshan, Zabei, and Putuo districts. which used to be incredibly popular, especially during the weekends. It was bustling with kids coming for tutoring classes, and there was also a small outlet in the Dahua Night Alley food street that was always lively. The parking lot attendant told me that business here was booming 3 years ago. Since then, the traffic slowly dwindled, and today it has finally shut down. Even some traditional retail stores that haven't closed are struggling with a lack of customers and are barely managing. Suning is one of the largest non-government retailers in China, with more than 10,000 stores nationwide, and its e-commerce platform ranks among the top 3 Chinese companies. Today, I went to Suning to look at the appliances and found that there were more employees than customers. I wonder what will happen to these big retail spaces in the future. Look, it's empty here. It's really sad. Recently, the news of a leading supermarket chain, RT Mart, closing stores across various locations has drawn public attention. Many visiting the RT Mart in Yangpu District, Shanghai, for an on-site exploration found the store well-stocked and seemingly operating normally, but the customer traffic is sparse, a far cry from its past bustling activity. Last year in November, RT Mart's Minhang store in Shanghai closed down. The lease came to an end without being renewed. Also in November last year, Carrefour's Kuyang store in Shanghai, once the first of the French chain supermarkets in the city, announced its closure. This Carrefour supermarket had been in operation since 1996, until its closure in 2023, serving the community for 27 years. At the end of last year, the well-known German supermarket chain BED closed all its stores in Shanghai, officially exiting the Chinese market. Nanjing Road in Shanghai's Huangpu district, known as China's #1 commercial street, was one of the most bustling districts in the city. The street stretches from the Bund in the east to Jing'an Temple in the west, spanning approximately 1,033 meters. It is a home to hundreds of shops, including many time-honored brands, making it a famous shopping and tourist attraction in Shanghai. However, Nanjing Road is now in decline. This is Shanghai's West Nanjing Road commercial street, once the most prosperous area in Shanghai, now witnessing a large number of vacant or closed shops. This stretch of Nanjing West Road is in an excellent location. It is Shanghai's traditional commercial street, a junction where multiple subway lines converge. Transportation here is extremely convenient. We're now looking at the street front shops of the Zhongchuang building opposite of the 818 Plaza. In the past few years, shops have changed owners multiple times and many are up for rent. This is between Taixing Road and Maoming North Road. Some shops on the north side of the Nanjing West Road are also vacant, with 2 rent signs on the doors. This place used to be a sports shoe store of a good brand, and now it has closed down. You can see that several shops along this stretch of Nanjing West Road are vacant. I'm not sure if it's because the economy is down or it's related to the high rent. Rumors suggest that the Isetan store and Westgate Mall may not renew its lease upon its expiration in July, potentially shutting down. Isetan was one of the first Japanese department store brands to enter the Chinese market. The first store opened in 1993 on Middle Huaihai Road in Shanghai, known as Shanghai Huating Isetan, and closed in 2008. This Isetan store was established in 1997, once a high-end shopping brand in Shanghai and part of the childhood memories of many young Shanghainese. Take a look. The Meilongzheng Isetan department store extends from the ground floor to the 7th floor atrium. Its splendor and brightness were incredibly inspiring to the people of Shanghai back then. The store was seen as an enchanting shopping paradise. It's around 3 p.m. on Sunday. This is the first floor cosmetics counter, where big brands gather, but there are barely any customers. I encountered the same situation the other day at the Wing On department store in East Nanking Road. This is the 3rd floor women's shoe customer service, also without customers. In addition to the supermarkets and department stores, numerous brick-and-mortar shops in Shanghai have also encountered several closures since last year. This is Shanghai's Qibao Road. The vlogger states that on this short stretch of just 100 meters, 5 storefronts have shut down and 2 shopping centers have also closed. After a year, I come back to find that several shops in my neighborhood have closed down. It's not just the malls, now even the service industry in communities has been greatly affected. These closures of department stores and supermarkets, along with challenges from e-commerce, community group buying, and warehouse stores, are not solely due to the rise of new ways of purchasing goods. Decreased consumer spending, also reflects the downturn in China's economy. Since last year, the Chinese economy has not seen the anticipated recovery. Instead, the country has been hit by waves of closures, bankruptcies, unemployment, and wage reductions. With less money in people's pockets, people are opting for cheaper alternatives, while malls and physical stores struggle with high operational costs like rent and labor, making it hard to compete with online stores offering lower prices. This trend is considered one of the reasons behind the closure of some large physical retail stores. The owner of a store expresses their sentiments.
I've been in the brick and mortar business for 12 years, and this year I felt immense pressure. In all the years I've been doing business, this is the first time I've felt so much pressure, from rent to utilities to wages. There were bad omens before the new year. The streets were empty and few were shopping. After the new year, it's the same. People avoided buying if they can, and even small purchases seem expensive. The truth is, most people just don't have money in their pockets. It's not that they're unwilling to spend, but they have to spend on what's necessary, including myself. If this continues, life for us will only get tougher. This is an unhealthy social situation. Only when the people have money can the economy grow. Right now, the money is concentrated in the hands of a very few. But these people don't engage in everyday life. They don't consume our ordinary goods. Where do we, the common folk, turn to? How do we provide for our families? Everyone says brick and mortar will be crushed by e-commerce. Think about it. If all the physical stores closed down and no one went out or shopped, if the streets were empty, could we still call it a peaceful and prosperous nation?
The closure of physical stores often garners attention, but the economic decline in Shanghai is not limited to this aspect alone. According to data released by the Shanghai Statistics Bureau in 2023, Shanghai's GDP reached over 4.7 trillion yuan, growing by 5% compared to the previous year. This is lower than the national growth rate of 5.2%. Although it is known that the data from the Statistics Bureau always contains some degree of exaggeration, even such standardized data comparisons reveal signs of sluggish growth, even decline, in Shanghai's economy. Shanghai once attracted a large number of international enterprises and investment companies, but last year, as China continuously decoupled from the rest of the world, these international investments accelerated their withdrawal. International financial institutions, which once leased half a building in Shanghai, are now collectively downsizing or directly ceasing operations in China. This includes well-known international financial institutions such as ING Bank, Citibank Private Banking, the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, Morgan Stanley, Canadian funds, BlackRock, Moody's, and Vanguard, all of which have closed their Shanghai offices in the past 2 years. Such a decline in the financial sector has led to a sharp rise in the official vacancy rates. According to data from the end of last year, over 20% of office buildings in Shanghai were vacant. The closure of physical stores, along with the high vacancy rate of office buildings, has led to a drop in the rent for commercial real estate in Shanghai. Many landlords face pressure to reduce rent to support retailers, restaurants, and companies in maintaining operations amidst lower consumer demand. The South China Morning Post reported on February 12th that developers and real estate agents say the vacancy rate of shopping centers and retail stores in non-CBD areas of the city may rise further due to the closure of unprofitable businesses. An executive from a large state-owned commercial real estate developer in Shanghai stated that almost all tenants are requesting rent reductions when negotiating lease renewals with landlords. Some business owners who wish to remain anonymous even said they would close their stores if they could not negotiate lower rents. Furthermore, in Shanghai's Grade A office market, due to oversupply, the average rent has decreased. By the end of 2023, the average rent had fallen by 6.3% year-on-year to 7 yuan per square meter per day. The average rent cost of commercial shopping centers in non-CBD areas dropped by 4.2% year-on-year to 16.8 yuan per square meter per day. According to the latest survey released by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in Shanghai, only 52% of the 325 member companies surveyed are optimistic about their business prospects in China over the next 5 years. This is the lowest recorded level since the survey began in 1999. Many international businesses are leaving Shanghai, and the number of international visitors in the city is also declining. This is a scene captured by a vlogger on Shanghai's Nanjing Road during the Chinese New Year holiday.
这里是国际一线大都市上海的南京路。
This is Nanjing Road in the metropolis of Shanghai. Look around. How many foreigners do you see? 0. Now that visas have been opened up by various countries, why aren't foreigners coming? International visitors not coming to China has also led to an unusual quiet Shanghai International Airport. On February 26th, a vlogger departing from Pudong International Airport to Japan found the airport very empty, with duty-free shops deserted.
国际客流看来还没有恢复啊。
It looks like international traffic hasn't recovered. Look at this empty departure lounge, and it's 11 in the morning. At the duty-free store, there are more staff than customers. At the Chow Tai Fook jewelry store, I feel these shops will have a hard time staying open. With no business, look, many restaurants haven't opened either. It's hard to find something to eat. The absence of international visitors, along with people from other provinces who once worked in Shanghai leaving the city, has led to a continuous decline in Shanghai's population for 5 consecutive years.
最新的上海人口普查结果，
The latest population census in Shanghai shows a decrease again in 2023, with only 24.9 million people, a reduction of 135,000. The migrant population decreased by 257,000. I'm watching a large group of people not return to Shanghai after the new year. Have they completely lost confidence in Shanghai? It's past the Lantern Festival, yet many shops are still closed, including breakfast spots. A friend in real estate told me they thought many would rent out the vacancies after the new year, but it's hard to find tenants. Many from other towns have left. The unemployed people thought jobs would be easier to find, but they are not, and we don't know why. Shanghai, oh Shanghai, can it return to its original state?
今年来上海的人啊，真的是少了很多。
The number of people coming to Shanghai this year has decreased. Just at the entrance of my community, 40% of the storefronts are vacant. 3 of them were previously restaurants, now with for rent signs on their doors. Recently, while taking an Uber, I chatted with the driver, and they also complained. They didn't go home for the new year. They stayed in Shanghai to make more money with ride-hailing. But with no platform rewards and fewer orders, they would have been better off going home for the holidays. They are capable of continuing to work, yet orders are still scarce. There are just too few people in Shanghai this year. Ride-hailing isn't sustainable anymore.
今天是大年初八。
Today is the 8th day of the Lunar New Year, and this is a street in the Yangpu district of Shanghai. Look, most of the storefronts are closed. Almost all of the service industry in Shanghai is managed by people from other areas. Some have gone back to their hometowns for the new year, and so-called ghost towns emerged in big cities during this time. But who knows how many will not return after the new year. This is the reality of Shanghai today. A once bustling and glamorous international metropolis is now facing an irreversible trend. The city is moving towards its decline with the counterproductive policies of the CCP. As a well-known financial blogger Laowai put it, Shanghai and indeed all of China can only gradually fall to the very bottom of the abyss. What more can we say about this? We can only quietly await the outcome.